You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah. This just sent straight from Philly. The Philly MC said they want that smoke, so we're gonna see what y'all got. Meek Mill, you know, you ain't got nothing but air and opportunity to show them how it's done. But Cosmic Kev, he hit me up and told me that Philly on the job. Let's go.
For years, hip-hop's most influential figures, including Diddy, have operated in an environment where discretion often shaped outcomes. 50 Cent's documentary centers on a compelling question. Why do some allegations gain attention while others barely surface? In an industry driven by visibility, restraint and selective disclosure can influence perception, delay consequences, and shake narratives. When patterns of discretion are repeated and reinforced, they can feel almost systemic. The documentary invites viewers to consider whether this silence is incidental or a deliberate aspect of how the industry manages sensitive matters.
Is doing his best to distance himself from Sean Diddy Combs after the music mogul was arrested and charged with racketeering and sex. We're taking a closer look at Meek Mill's reaction and public pressure with an entertainment attorney.
Yeah.
That didn't look weird.
It's very weird. The voice memos alone. You know, I miss your legs.
Your limp leg.
Your limp leg. Damn.
Not legs. Your limp leg. Leg.
Yeah. Jeez.
What straight grown man says that to another grown man? Because it sounds like the leg that he was referring to was his pee-pee scut.
God damn. And again, we're bouncing around, but for Lil Rod, that whole part right there where he stated, you know, they would all just be drinking, and then all of a sudden everyone's out of it, and he would wake up with women next to him. Sometimes he'll wake up with Diddy next to him, not remembering what happened the night before.
Yeah.
That's as wild as it gets, man. There's so much left unsaid.
Just wake up with Diddy next to him. Wake up sore.
Man.
But I'm tripping, all right? I'm tripping. I mean, that's what the whole world went around saying. I'm tripping. Okay.
When you see the Eric Sermon discussion about Misa, and you know, it seems like Diddy's just out there to take, you know, everyone's girl. It seems like, you know, if you got her, I want her. For the situation where they say he was trying to shape Misa into his mother, can you see that? Like,
yeah, with the blonde hair and yeah, and all of that. I mean, somebody
really
asked a question: what kind of man puts his hands on his mother? The same kind of man that parties with his mom, the same kind of man who kisses his mom in the mouth, the same kind of man who seems to have accurate knowledge that his elderly mother can put both of her hands, her palms, on the floor and while she's standing up.
Power is strongest when it no longer requires explanation. The film explores how figures like Sean Combs, known as Diddy, extended their influence beyond music through strategic business moves and control over key networks, letting decisions take effect without public statements. In these spaces, authority does not defend itself. It simply exists. When power moves silently, who is left to push back? The film asks a critical question. At what point does influence become unquestionable authority? And who dares challenge it once it reaches that peak?
50 Ben knew it. Fifth Ben knew these things. 50 will pay a private investigator to follow you around and to go to your party. At that top level, that's how they playing, bro. That's how they coming at that top level. People not finna come out and deny it because, all right, this search warrant come, they pull these files, and they see you at that crib. What you about to say? What are you gonna say? If you know you didn't do nothing, you're gonna say, man, that's a lie. Nobody's saying that. So what does that mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Because I'm gonna make sure you know, no, I was not there. No, I was not touching man cakes. No, I'm not kissing men in here. Well, if that's what you do, that's what you do. But I'm not coming like that. Me and Foden, I'm not coming like that. This the world we in now, though. So I just move accordingly.
So being from Chicago,
Yes, sir.
have you ever ran across R. Kelly or been around R. Kelly?
I grew up around this guy. So R. Kelly, personal pastor, his reverend, that's my uncle. So my uncle Keith have took me around him multiple times trying to get him to hire him to be his security. Now the first time I ever seen him was at my church a couple times when I was a kid, and I was seeing him at my uncle's house. You feel me? I was seeing him there. But I never liked the dude, bro. I always thought something was strange about him because I used to go to this school called Providence St. Mel. Now the tape that he had with the year-old, she went to that same school. So this was already floating around in the city already. You know what I'm saying? So I had been knowing this guy. I never liked him. I thought he was strange. You feel me? So my uncle come get me. He say, nephew, I got a gig for you. Robert trying to hire new security. Because he always had Hammer with him. And he always had that white guy, Chris, with the hearing problem. Who had the hearing aid in. He always had them. So they fell out over money. So my uncle tried to smooth, like 14 years older than me, 15 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? But you know, he was a probation officer. So he operated a little bit different. I was in the street full time, bro. So like, I was outside in the field. So like, you know, you would hear Gene say when they got a threat on their life, Diddy told him, I'm not trying to hear that shit, Gene. Because it's your job to be gangster. It's your job to get wild with people. That's what you're getting paid for. So when you see people like that coming out, it's because they know for a fact, like it's things that's going on they don't agree with, but they not man enough to say, you know what, I'm not standing for this. So a lot of people love me because if I see some guys doing something crazy to a female, hold on, boy, not in front of me. So that'll lead me to get like, oh, we ain't gonna hire him no more because he's not gonna allow this. So that's how like I ended up like whenever Imana called me, I'm immediately coming because like he not on this strange shit y'all on. You know what I'm saying? That's why like if I don't want to say his name, I'm still on the contract with him. Let me be careful here. Let me be careful here, man. Let me be careful because that stuff about Diddy real, bro.
What do you think about the Meek Mill accusations?
Okay. Now, you know, I used to bodyguard Rocky Fresh, who was signed to Rose.
Yep.
All right. Now, Meek said he wouldn't do a song with Rocky because Rocky wasn't street. Right. So, little things that take place, and people will expect certain things out of him. But now with some of this stuff's coming out, if you look at his body of work, it's been strange things in his history. So then, you go on his Twitter page, you click on his likes, bro. You see things that he's liking. That's questionable. Would you come up in here with a matching shirt with me?
Hell no.
Hell no. Ace, would you pop out with a matching shirt with me, bro? Styles, put that on something. You gonna pop out with? No, boy, it's not going like that, bro. Would you let me call you daddy?
Hell no.
No, bro. I've been saying this for years. I say, man, these boys strange, bro. The things they into is strange. I've seen so much. I've seen a lot, bro. So like with him, look how he responded to the situation. Not one time did he come out and say these things are a lie. Did you see that?
Yep.
He didn't say that.
He didn't deny it.
No, he didn't deny nothing. Because if he deny it, what's finna come out? Footage.
You think Diddy has footage on Meek?
For sure. He got cameras through his whole crib. Every millionaire, billionaire I've been around, bro, so I know what's going on. So if I go into the bathroom, I'm going to cut the lights off, cut the flash on my phone, and look at the mirrors. If it's got that little hollow circle at the bottom, there's cameras in there. They're going to be all through the crib. That's why most times I'm going to chill in the car. Call me, text me if it's getting dangerous. I'm coming in and demonstrate. Point blank, period. This the facts, bro. I've been saying it for years, bro. For years. That's why I stopped just going by myself. Because I be having my own money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can't just tell me anything. So I'm like, okay, me and phone, I'm pulling up here. I'm not going to pay for all your friends. The guys got cheese. We go to the club. We're going to buy our own bottles. We're going to stand right here and make sure don't nothing happen. But when it comes to that camera stuff.
In this ecosystem, proximity drives momentum. Careers surge when aligned with power and stall when distance grows. The documentary follows how connections to figures like Diddy can open doors, while separation quietly closes them, turning relationships into strategic positioning rather than simple friendship. When closeness becomes currency, who decides its flow, and who pays the cost when access is revoked? What happens when that connection is suddenly cut, leaving promising careers in limbo? The film challenges viewers to rethink how influence is shaped more by proximity than by merit.
Meek Mills. Well, he said a Philly rapper. You understand? And it was redacted in the paperwork to that because, first of all, it had Meek Mills, it had Stevie J. They had redacted their names, and they had Usher, and they redacted their names and just said a performer of the Super Bowl and a Philly rapper. Everybody kind of knew back in the day that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that shit. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing the same, he dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of shit, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bro. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on, I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mills up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all the other and he was searching for some online gay porn and all the other like that.
Oh, wow.
That shit is crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this shit. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioned about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
The film examines Meek Mill not as a target, but as a lens on alignment and visibility. Public loyalty can shield, yet it also draws scrutiny when narratives change. The documentary explores how artists navigate influence while maintaining independence. When being aligned offers protection today but risk tomorrow, what does survival demand? Meek Mill's journey highlights a broader reality. In a world that prizes both loyalty and exposure, what does it truly mean to stand by someone? And when does the cost of loyalty outweigh its rewards?
You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
Yeah, you see a lot of shit. It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like, you could tell that he was already.
Nah, New Yorkers know. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was
what did it feel like all these years? You being the only one calling this out?
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They
You're
said
a hater. You do this. Yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying is,
might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This was what was going on. Right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh, shoot.
A turning point comes when allegations about figures like Diddy move from whispers into official records. The documentary does not judge. It traces filings, timelines, and testimonies that turn speculation into documented fact. As the record grows, uncertainty diminishes. When facts replace rumor, which narratives endure, and which begin to unravel? This moment forces viewers to confront the fragility of perception. Are we only seeing the facts allowed to surface? In an era defined by documentation, who decides what shapes a person's legacy?
The true nature and name for this event is going to be called a swinger party, Pierce. And that's what takes place. You people, partners sharing their partner, indulging in acts. You know, as long as things are consensual, you know, what people do is their business. But if I'm getting a call because somebody's applying oppression on other people, that's when things become a problem. And, you know, I had sent in a video of the guy, Combs, walking around collecting everyone's cell phone before they get onto a yacht to go party. Why do you have to collect everyone's cell phone before you go onto a party? He's collecting the phones himself. That's what I meant by there's layers to the party. You know, the first part of the event is going to be a normal socializing mixer. But, you know, when the guy comes out collecting phones, that's when things are about to get. That's when somebody's cake's getting touched. This is how it goes. It's a zest apocalypse right now, man. We got to do something about this.
Is there any doubt that he was Diddy? That seems to be clear from a lot of the evidence that's come out.
Yeah. All of these guys are when it comes to that. Like, I've very rarely seen any straight dudes in this industry, man. That's why I pivoted my business. Like, it's like, I don't want to be the only straight man at the party. So, I got to change it up. All of these dudes are, man.
But
all of them are.
And the freak-offs,
all bisexual weirdos.
Right, you're painting a picture of these freak-offs as being consensual largely, although the issue of the phones is obviously significant and will be tested, I'm sure, in court. But you're also suggesting that it was everyone sort of sharing partners. But isn't the key part of the Diddy case predicated on the fact that he may have been trafficking, in other words, bringing in a lot of workers to take part in these as well? And that he, for example, with Cassie Ventura, was, they were having, male workers, female workers, and so on. In other words, it may have been consensual, but it also involved people who were not, with each other, but actual sex workers joining in.
Yeah. So, whenever you see the little guys, the white dudes come in with the spiky hair looking like vampires, the workers is arriving. And at the end of the day,
Coverage is never neutral. By exploring how stories about Diddy, Meek Mill, and other hip-hop figures are framed, delayed, or left untold, the film examines the media's role in shaping consequence. Headlines can create urgency, while silence erodes it. Editorial restraint may seem responsible, but it can also preserve imbalance. When coverage is withheld or slowed, who benefits and who bears the cost? The documentary raises a critical question. Is the media complicit in maintaining certain power structures? And if so, what does that mean for the public's right to know?
Drop $1 million on your head and just put Diddy next to it. Right there. See, it says BlackRock. What song came up?
Phrase.
I'll drop $1 million on your head. Erase you and your whole family, biatch.
Wow.
He's saying it in the song on what he did to get rid of Tupac.
What an idiot.
He's saying this like that is the level of criminality to say, I'm going to get away with it, right? One day I'm at an NBA game. This was 2 years ago, right before he got arrested. I had done like 3 videos on Diddy. He's at a game with one of his girls. He sees me. I see him. Listen, if there's a guy in the hip hop world I cannot stand, is this guy. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. And then we're locked in. Vinny, when I tell you we're locked in eye to eye, 2 minutes.
And you're not breaking.
Neither one of us are breaking.
And
okay?
he's across the...
Look, you don't understand. To me, Tupac was as a young kid coming up, he played a very big role as
in your painting.
Yeah, he's
the most influential people in your life.
To me, that guy was so to me, you took this guy out. I investigated a lot of people based on the reports and things that we talked to a lot of different people. It always comes back to Diddy. And the more and more you put the stuff together, there's another story about what happened with Biggie. So same partner, that guy that's a 25% owner. So they say, okay, let's go to LA and let's do this tour in LA. Biggie's like, there's videos of Biggie saying, man, I feel like something's about to happen. I feel like someone's going to take me out. He's supposed to go to LA. And then right after LA, he's supposed to go to UK for a tour. He's already got flight and everything booked. Diddy calls, what's the guy's name?
Edwards on the right? All the way on the right? Corey Edwards?
Corey Edwards. He calls him and he says, cancel his flight. So what do you mean cancel his flight? Cancel his flight. I'm not canceling his flight. He's going to New York. He's going to UK. Cancel his flight. So they cancel his flight. Biggie stays, and then he gets killed. And the rest is history.
Jeez.
And by the way, he uses that to come out and creates that song, Every Breath I... And Sting performs it, and he dances,
of course,
celebrating the death, and he's praying to Biggie, and he puts the biggest funeral together, and guess who pays for the funeral? He uses all the money from Biggie to pay for Biggie's funeral.
Jeez.
This guy's the biggest.
Accountability is less about punishment than adherence to process. Courts determine guilt. Institutions set standards. Audiences shape memory. When power operates in shadows, what obligations arise once it is exposed? This unresolved tension lingers. When the dust settles and the final chapter is written, who remains to evaluate the legacies that power has long safeguarded?